feel-good Friday morning. A feel-good summer Friday. NBA draft was last night. Just craziness with the Knicks. Craziness all over, but craziness especially with the Knicks. Yankees had this walk-off win against the Astros, comeback win that was spectacular. We'll get into all of it, but I just could not believe what the hell was going on last night at that NBA draft, starting with the Knicks pick at 11. I guess starting with them not trading up to try to get Jaden Ivey and that not working for them, and then drafting the guy at 11 from France, of course, because it's either got to be a guy from Kentucky or a guy from France, trading him away, and then ultimately not ending up with a first-round pick at all, with a roster bereft of talent, to just set yourself up to sign a guy who's had one really good year, or maybe Kyrie Irving, who would torpedo your franchise. There better be a plan here, Boomer. There better be a plan. Good morning. How are you?
Today is a feel-good Friday, and for a feel-good Friday to start last night at pick 11 at the NBA draft for me was amazing. I mean, I literally could not stop laughing for about an hour and a half. I mean, I texted every person I knew. I was tweeting out last night, my reaction to the Knicks pick and the way this whole thing went down. And I understand what they're doing. There's no question that they're trying to open cap space. We all know that.
But why did they not get a play? You want to tell me that $4 million or whatever it was because you didn't draft a first-round guy means that much to them, that they're not going to bring in a young player on a rookie contract? I mean, you want to clear cap space for the best players in the game. That's what you want to do.
Well,
and you want to make maneuvers for LeBron James in 2010 and Kevin Durant in 2016. Like, those are the guys that you're moving mountains to try to bring in. And I like Jalen Brunson. I hope he ends up on the team, but you don't do stuff like this and forego a first-round pick to get Jalen Brunson.
And a French guy, no less, that was on the stage all of about 30 seconds, and they whisked them away.
After he got booed, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he got booed, he got whisked away, and they got traded all in 1 minute. That's the Knick experience. That's what I was tweeting out last night. I was crying looking through all the Twitter commentary in regards to the Knicks. And the front office has got to understand that, when you draft a French guy and you trade him, it's just gonna be like open season. It is going to be, the floodgates are going to open. People are going to criticize. I was laughing. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but I do know that they have an unbelievable amount of assets, whether that means anything to anybody or not, and whether it helps the team next year.
Here's the other thing. They're all protected picks.
Well,
so they're all lottery protected picks.
Yeah,
one of them's a top 14 protected pick, so none of the picks that they got back are going to be better than the 11th overall pick in which they had last night.
Well, and again, they'll end up trading it or moving it or, doing something to have another team take somebody else off their hands. There were rumors last night that they were trying to trade Julius Randle. Hey, they tried to go get Ivy. Detroit wanted Ivy. The problem is like, okay, you can go get a guy if you really, really want him, if the team that's drafting him doesn't want him. And Detroit and their GM and everybody else around Detroit was talking about how fortunate they felt that Ivy was there when they drafted, and that's the guy that he wanted, and he wanted the other guy that the Knicks ended up trading for from Charlotte to Durant. What's his name? Duran?
Duran.
And they wanted him too. So I don't know. It's Knick basketball. What can I tell you? It's like you can only do so much, and they're trying to maneuver. They're trying to do things. I want to be somewhat understanding, but here's the problem. When you make decisions, 2 years ago, you made a decision, and I think we all agreed with it. You're going to keep Julius Randle, okay? Unfortunately, but I think fortunately also, because I like R.J. Barrett, and I think most Knick fans like R.J. Barrett. We all wanted Zion. Zion's done nothing, basically, in his NBA career to this point due to injury, and R.J. has gotten better every year. We all like Emmanuel quickly, but do we think that he's the guy that could be the lead point guard? Of course not. That's why they're trying to clear as much cap space as they can so they can go after Jalen Brunson. They hired Jalen Brunson's father, Rick, to the coaching staff now. Of course, Leon Rose repped, Rick Brunson and also Jalen Brunson. All of these contacts, the World Wide West world that we're living in and all this other stuff, these are all the things that they're counting on. And the decisions that you make as you go along the road, basically have an impact on the decisions you make in real time. And that's exactly what's going on. So they made some bad decisions. Again, because if you're in the front office of the Knicks, it just doesn't, unless your name is Donnie Walsh, when you're in the front office of the Knicks, all of a sudden it hits you over the head like an idiot stick. And you make decisions that come back to haunt you and lead you into new decisions trying to fix the old ones. And, all I can tell you is that I just want to say thank you, because I hadn't laughed that hard at an NBA draft. And, this is my team. This is the team I root for. But my memories of this team go all the way back to Walt, Clyde, Frazier, DeBusschere, Bradley, Willis Reed, Red Holzman, and that crew. And then, of course, to Pat Riley and Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley and John Starks and Jeff Van Gundy and that crew. And then ever since then, it has been nothing but a laughing stock and a joke.
I'm out of laughs at this point. I think I'm out of laughs. I can't
say last night for me was the punchline.
Yeah,
it was the ultimate punchline that we drafted a French guy, had him up there. They took a picture. They got him off the stage and they traded him. I mean, before he could even get on the last step, he was already traded.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And again, he had his Nick moment though. He had a picture with the hat on.
Oh,
the
sure.
Commissioner. And I told Jerry this morning, I texted him, I said, look, Jerry, you have to play the commissioner's pick for the Knicks over and over and over again. Because one of the funniest things about it is he says the kid's name, I can't even say it. And he says,
Dang.
Dang, okay. Bordeaux, France.
Yeah, and of course, for people who are wondering why it's so funny, he's from France. Frederick Weiss and Frank Ntilikina, two guys who came from France that, of course, were two of the stone worst players in Knicks history.
Frederick Weiss never even showed up.
Exactly. So that makes him one of the worst players in Knicks history because he was drafted so high and he never even played a game for him. So it's just and the whole Jalen Brunson thing, I said yesterday, I'd be happy if the Knicks came out of all of this with either Ivy or Brunson. And I said I wanted Brunson. I didn't want him this bad. I didn't want him so bad that you traded out of the first round entirely to make sure that you got him. And by the way, there's no lock that you're going to get him. Because the Mavericks can pay him more than anybody, and I don't know if they're going to end up going the distance with him money-wise and years-wise and whatever. Obviously, there's other players they got to worry about on that team. But he likes it there. He's playing with Luka Doncic. There's a team that went to the conference finals last year, for crying out loud. And now he's going to come to the Knicks just because his dad is there coaching? It's not a lock. I know that there's relationships there, but, the Knicks are operating, and maybe it is. Maybe they know. Maybe Leon Rose knows. But the Knicks are operating as if Jalen Brunson is Allen Iverson in his prime, and they know 100% that he's going to join the team. That's how they're operating. And I know that the 11th pick, you say it's not like a top 3 pick, but we've seen in the NBA, whether it be Giannis or Steph Curry or Klay Thompson or Draymond Green or whoever, that these guys, there's diamonds in the rough throughout the entire first round. And to come out of this draft with Ugats because you're setting everything up to get Jalen Brunson, not LeBron James, but Jalen Brunson is just amazing to me. It really is. I know that you're getting the biggest kick out of this situation, but, what are they going to be even if they get Jalen Brunson? They'll be better at point guard. They'll still have Julius Randle there. They'll be a C-plus team in the Eastern Conference?
Yeah, right? Well, the other thing, too, is that, they got to move Alec Burks. He had foot surgery.
Yeah, right.
That's not going to be
this
easy.
Guy hobbling around. You got to trade him, and then you got to try to find somebody for Evan Fournier, who basically plays like he's got ankle weights on. So you gave him $72 million or whatever the F. So now you got to trade those two guys to get even more cap space for what exactly?
But again, decisions. They made decisions to bring in Kemba Walker. They made a decision to bring in Evan Fournier. They gave him the money, and now they ruled those decisions, and they're trying to figure out how to get out from underneath those decisions. Well, they got out from underneath of Kemba Walker. Alec Burks is going to be next. And then, who knows? Maybe Evan Fournier will be after that. All I can tell you is it's almost impossible. It's like the Knicks roster, the way they spend money, who spends the money, who gets the money, who gets the guarantees and all that other stuff. I mean, and then just to put the little cherry on top. Bordeaux, France. I mean, come on. You can't even make it up.
I mean, you say that it's almost impossible. You're right, and I feel that way too. But one way that it is possible is through the draft. Yeah. That's one way that it's possible. And when you come out of a draft with no players, then it's not possible.
Well,
You're
they
right.
came out with a second-round pick.
I mean, come on. In the first round is what I'm talking about, obviously. And they get the guy in a Duke.
Pick will turn out to be like a Jericho Sims or something. Who knows?
Yeah, okay, but I mean, that's not the game-changing type of stuff I'm talking about. I mean, even Adam Silver in his opening comments talks about, the Warriors won another championship, and if you look at how they won, Steph Curry at pick number 8, Klay Thompson at pick number 14, Draymond Green at pick number 34. And he goes through all of that stuff about how you build through the draft, and then here are the Knicks getting out of the first round completely. We don't got the 11th pick. We don't need that. Let's just trade that for a bunch of lottery protected picks and a 14th overall protected pick, just so we can clear money out for a guy who's not even an all-star. And let's hire his dad. I mean, for Christ's sakes.
Yes.
I like Jalen Brunson. I like him, and he had a 40-point game in the playoffs against the Jazz. He had a
41-point game when Luka Doncic didn't play.
Right. And I don't want to knock him, but the way that the Knicks are moving things around,
they have no choice.
You would think that it was Giannis they were getting ready to sign. Seriously.
And by the way, who is covering Giannis, Joel Embiid, and Kevin Durant? Who's covering Jimmy Butler? Who is covering these guys?
I don't know. Some free agent that they just signed from France.
I don't know.
Probably.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I wake up this morning. I hope. I always hope, but you never know. You just never know. I mean, I don't know how.
Where's the hope this time around, though, honestly? That your second rounder is going to pan out and that you hope that Jalen Brunson chooses the Knicks in free agency? That's the hope this morning?
You know what I can't believe? I mean, I really can't believe that. And I know Jim Dolan personally, so I know he's letting his people do their thing because, where he got involved with the Rangers last year is he cleaned house. And he said, okay, Chris Drury, Glenn Sather, whatever, you guys, let's go. This is what we need. This is what we have, and let's go fix it. And Drury did amazing things around the draft, around the trade deadline. Now he's got to do some jumbling, and he's got to figure out, how he can put a team together with the salary cap constraints that they have, which are so much more, just restrictive than the NBA cap is. So this is it's amazing to me that the same guy can own both teams. And one team seems to be running along smoothly. Even back in 2018 when they sent a letter out and they said, okay, we're trading our guys, and Jeff Gorton was the GM. We understood the direction. Then we watched the draft. They got lucky in the draft. They were able to get a first overall pick and a second overall pick. And then they added guys. They traded for guys like, Keandre Miller and made that draft pick. And, they started adding pieces. And you're saying, okay, we got something here. We could see a plan. And, of course, they brought over Shesterkin, which was the key to all of it. And then they got Adam Fox in the trade. I mean, there were so many things that were happening so quickly under two separate GMs, both Gorton and Drury, that, we went to the Eastern Conference Finals in a very short period of time. The Knicks, the Knicks at the moment, this morning, we sit here, have backed up even farther away from the playoffs, let alone a championship run.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make it up.
No, you really can't. I mean, this offseason was really, I was supposed to, trade Julius Randle. That was a thing that I thought would be able to happen. It's not going to be able to happen.
You never know.
No, I don't know, man. There's no way. He was with World Wide West and others, with the whole at the playoffs when they were there at Dallas. I mean,
but I kind of read where potentially he would have been traded to Sacramento, trying to get the 4th pick overall, and then they would have selected Jaden Ivey.
Well, that would have been great if that happened, but the problem is he's not an asset. He's a guy who...
He's an anchor.
Who had a miserable season last year, and he had a horrible attitude problem, and there's no way in hell that the Sacramento Kings are going to drop down from 4 to 11 just to take on Julius Randle, and all the problems that he brings. So they're just stuck. They're stuck, and then there's really... I mean, why in the hell would, and other than money, would Jalen Brunson want to come to this cesspool? Honestly,
I don't know. Why
you know what, Jalen? Stay in Dallas for your own sake, for Christ's sake, for your own life. I want you here to play for the Knicks, but honestly, if I was advising you, don't come here. Really,
you know what? If he plays for Dallas and he gets the number that we think it would take for him to come to New York, but he gets it in Dallas, he can buy himself a condo with the savings and tax.
Oh yeah,
in Miami Beach,
right? And
you know that, or out in California if he wants. But
and he's playing with Luka Doncic down there.
Yes, playing with a bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer who's got 10 years of great years left.
Yeah. Oh my
and you're
goodness.
going to come to New York and play with Julius Randle.
I know that Luka Doncic was off the board when the Knicks selected that year. But I want to.
Everybody's off the board.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, not necessarily. Sometimes they don't get the guy; they pass up on the guy. But I think, was that the Kevin Knox draft? Is that which one was that? The Luka Doncic draft 2018, the 2018 NBA draft. Was that the Kevin Knox draft? So yeah, he was selected 3rd overall. And the Knicks were down there lurking at number 9 and got Kevin Knox, who had one good summer league game and then fell off the face of the earth.
It seems like the Knicks always are just good enough not to get the best player. So, that little run at the end of the year that we were hoping they would get Zion, they end up falling because they end up winning towards the end of the season. And they end up falling to 3rd. And RJ has turned out to be a really good basketball player. He's going to be a star. So I'm good with that. And I love the kid. And I don't want that kid going anywhere. I don't want Emmanuel Quickly going anywhere. I don't want, any of these young kids, Obi Toppin. I don't want any of those guys going anywhere. I do give them credit for getting rid of Kemba Walker and his salary because that was a mess. That was a bad decision. I would like to think they're going to try to get rid of Fournier, that they would try to get rid of Julius Randle. And those things still could happen. And the fact that they supposedly tried to do these things to get Jaden Ivey, and it didn't work, that's not their fault because Detroit wanted Ivey. That GM really wanted Ivey. And, and it just, for the Knicks, it's just another stroke of bad luck the night of the draft, which we are all accustomed to, I think, and it's gone on for years and years.
Yeah, but when you
years
trade completely out of the first round,
yes,
you don't give yourself an opportunity to find that next guy, and that's what they did. All right, we got some weather for you. Boomer and Gio just getting started on this feel-good summer Friday.